So we talked a lot about the aspect of how AK wants to build, and you have to build through the draft either way. You always have to build some way through the draft.
Yep.
Casey Johnson came out and said that the Bulls aren't necessarily focused on position. That's not the key there. They're looking at how the players that fit the team that they currently have, that fit the scheme, and that can defend, right? So they aren't holding to any position. They're looking more at skill set and scheme fit. Let me ask you this, Pat. When you hear that, how do you feel about that? And then B, what players do you think in this draft best fit the players that we have on the team and the way that the Bulls are trying to play?
Listen, I think that when I hear it to start things off, good job. Like you want players that fit your scheme. Good job. But what I will say is it tells me that you think that the team that you have at least has somebody who does put you in a different level of conversation as far as competitiveness when you start to look at scheme fit. What scares me about scheme fit is, right, and what scares me about scheme fit and what's a good way to what scares me about focusing on that instead of going best player available is this is the NBA. That's the mindset that got the Portland Trailblazers Sam Bowie instead of Michael Jordan. Because he didn't fit what they were trying to do. We got a shooting guard already. We don't need one. Well, you could have had the best one that ever did it. Right? That's the mindset that I think has shot so many teams in the foot so often because you're so worried about how does this guy fit in, and you're not. And you what you don't want to do in that situation is we don't want to step on anybody's toes that's already here. Well, they got 35 wins. Step on some toes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are building in the right direction, but do you have a star? No matter what, we don't feel like the Indiana Pacers have a star, and yes, that's working. But it seems like they about to get clapped by the two teams that do have stars.
And also that depends on also how you view Tyrese. There are some people that view Tyrese Halliburton as a star, and I'm like, I guess you can make that conversation in some way, but he's a damn good player. That's the way that I look at it. He's a damn good player.
I think he's a star of a different era. I don't know if I'd call him a star for the modern NBA, but he's also about to go to the NBA Finals, so I can't say he's not.
Yeah.
Right, I think I can sit here and be like, I don't view Tyrese Halliburton as a star. I don't think that Tyrese Halliburton is, the top 5 at his position right now. He's top 10 for sure, but I don't know if he's top 5. But he's also about to be one of the last 2-point guards standing. So it's kind of tough to sit there and be like, I don't think he's top 5. And then he about to go to the NBA Finals off of his back, off of multiple game winners. And what I will say, this playoffs may turn him into a star. He may be a star because of the playoff run we've seen.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen before too. So that's a great point.
There could be a very different conversation about Tyrese heading into the next season. But I think for me, you still have to find the pieces that, yes, they fit in, but you have to find the pieces that put you over the top. You went out and you added Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam was somebody that was putting up, you brought him in to be the number 2. We talked about Pascal Siakam as the dude who literally was the same as Zach LaVine, just taller. He was a dude that there wasn't a lot of winning happening because of him. And he
did have a title to his name, though. But yeah, I agree with
you. I'm talking about, remember, he got the keys. They gave him the keys to the team after Kawhi left, and that was the end of the run.
Let me ask you. I thought I threw you an alley-oop. I knew my brother was going to bring it home. You didn't, because to me, if you're saying that you want wing depth, you want a two-way player, you want shooting, you want athleticism. That sounds like Cedric Coward to me.
Yeah, it does.
That sounds like Cedric Coward to me. I'm just saying, if you just take everything that KC said that the Bulls are looking for and you put it in one player, that sounds a little bit like Cedric Coward. That's all I'm saying.
To me, though, I think that's right. You're going best fit, but also, are you going scheme fit? Right? I like a lot of that. I love what Cedric Coward brings to the team. I think that he's going to be a great player if the Bulls do go out and get him. I think he's going to be a great player for whoever goes out and gets him. But I wouldn't look at Cedric Coward as the perfect scheme fit because Cedric Coward doesn't do what he does if Coby White's still on the team. Now maybe that's the
You don't
plan
think
that
so?
they go.
He's really good off ball. I think he could actually fit in well with Coby personally.
I think Cedric Howard shows up and says, Modest, you get your shots, Giddey, you get your shots, I'm getting my shots. I think it's very tough for you to have 4 players like that on this team. Where there's you've already got your 3 players that need the ball in their hands.
But that's the thing. That's why I don't think Cedric Howard needs the ball in his hands to be successful. At least that's not right away. Of course, down the road, of course. But I look at Cedric Howard that I think through his first couple of years in the league, living off creating transition, rebounding really well. He's a solid passer. But I think him off ball, he comes off screens and shoots the ball really well. And his cutting to the rim, I could see a world in which he can thrive off ball, at least initially. But I understand your concern there for sure.
And I think here's the thing, right? Is this a season? The one thing you got to ask yourself, is this a season where the Bulls are looking to go in and turn their franchise over for a player? Right. So if you bring Cedric Howard, maybe you are living in a world where, we still keeping Coby, we're keeping Modest. When you keeping Modest, you're keeping Coby, you're keeping Giddey, you keep him, and Modest is a part of that core as well. And Cedric Howard, you get in where you fit in, and then 4 or 5 years down the road, is that the conversation you're having about who's on the team? Or do you do what a lot of teams do right before they end up making that next step to being a long-term playoff team and say, we are willing to get rid of one of the pieces that we have to add to this team? The Warriors did that with Monte Ellis. That's what a lot of teams end up doing where that turn happened. I was going to ignore it.
We already have that. Shut the hell up. Respectfully.
We already have the paw.
We already have the what? Respectfully.
Are we still calling them the paw? I don't think we
call him the paw, a kitty cat paw. You know what I wanted to say there. Anyway, that's crazy. But no, so hearing, not to say that Cedric Howard's the only one that fits that. I do think there are some other players that do, but that's where my mind went to, is like, hey, if the Bulls throw out this Igor Dimmon misdirect to just draft Cedric Howard at 12, bro, the excitement that you're going to see from Pat the designer,
oh my God, bro,
is going to be crazy,
bro. Y'all don't understand, bro. I was sitting there watching this kid, and I was like, oh, this is Ant. Was literally sitting there watching. I was like, he's Ant. Like, this is the dude. This is the dude you change your franchise around for. Like, I'm be real with you. I think the season may start off, if you roll this back with the same team, it may start off with somebody else as the number 1. But it's going to finish with Cedric Howard being the number 1. Don't get me excited, bro.
I'm just saying right now, don't be surprised if in 3 years we're having the conversation, Cedric Howard is the Tyrese Halliburton of this draft. Whoever the Bulls draft, Cedric Howard could go a couple of spots later, and I know Bulls fans are going to be like, I remember when y'all passed on Cedric Howard?
Bro, I'm not going to lie to you, though. We so in on this dude. He better be good. We gonna go back. We gonna go back, and it's gonna be up there with our Javon Carter love at the beginning when we signed him.
The good thing is that we're not like some people who aren't afraid to admit, hey man, we messed up on that one. We was wrong.
Up, right?
Yeah. You done messed up, right? With that said, we're gonna go ahead and finish the show. We're gonna talk about Vooch and P. Will they remain on the Bulls roster? Are they staying around? Right after this.